Sunday with Darling Nickie, and this week we are talking about our first reactions to finding out that our partner, boyfriend, son, friend, whatever, is trans-identified. I have to say this is a great topic because every single person on the channel is going to have a totally different story because everybody takes it differently, and everybody finds out differently, and so I think this is going to be a great topic. I'm so interested to hear from Tracy because her son is trans, so she's not coming at it from the partner point of view. And I'm also interested in hearing Toy's story because she got involved with Chase as Chase and didn't know him before that. So didn't know him before he was trans-identified. So I'm really interested to hear about that. So I'm super excited for this week. Hopefully in my crazy busy schedule I'll have time to watch everyone's videos. Realistically, that may not happen, but I will try. I'm going to try because they're awesome. Alright, so was your partner trans-identified before you met him? Gabe was not. As I've mentioned in previous videos, Gabe and I, we were together for about 2 years before he came out to me as being trans. Please ignore the noise in the background. The pets are eating dinner, and it is loud. Oh my god, they're like scarfing down. Okay, oh my god. Anyways, we were together for 2 years before Gabe came out to me as trans. So when and how did he tell you? Well, here's basically the story. He told me in December of 2008, so that was like 8 or 9 months ago, I guess. He told me between Christmas and New Year's. And at that time, we were, I guess, broken up for a little while and taking a little break from each other for a few reasons, but one of those reasons was because I was struggling with my sexual orientation, which, if any of you know me in real life, you know that that's been going on for, like, ever. So I was struggling with that, and so basically what was going on in my head was I was trying to figure out if I even liked girls at all. You know, I'd been in this lesbian relationship for 2 years, and I started to realize I don't even really like women. Like, this is not really what I want. So we were broken up, and it was during that time that Gabe came to terms with the fact that he's trans. So we had taken Rex, our cat, to the vet, and after that, he said, you know, I need to talk to you, and I'm like, oh, well, give me a call on our way home from the vet, or whatever. And he's like, no, I need to talk to him in person, and I'm like, ooh. So he came over to our apartment, which at the time he wasn't living here. It was, I guess, my apartment, but it's been our apartment. And he came over, and we sat down, and he's like, oh my god, I need a drink in order to tell you this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we had drinks, and he still wouldn't tell me, and he was really nervous, and I could tell he was really tense. So I started guessing to sort of help him out there. So I start guessing all these things, and I'm like, you know, you lost your job, you owe somebody a lot of money, someone died, you hurt somebody. I was like trying to think of every single thing in the world. I was guessing the most ridiculous things, like, you're pregnant. So I started, like, guessing all of these crazy ideas, and finally I just got quiet and I looked at him, and I'm like, you're trans. And he just nodded, and I knew. So at first I cried, and I think I sort of surprised him. I don't think he expected me to cry quite that much, but I cried quite a lot because I thought, oh my gosh, was I not good enough to you? Why couldn't you tell me sooner? Was I not a good enough listener? Was I not a good enough partner to you? You know, what did I do wrong? And he slowly helped me to realize that it wasn't anything that I did wrong. It was hard enough for him to come to terms with it himself, let alone try to talk to me about it, which I understand now, but didn't understand that. So I was really upset, cried and cried and cried. Then I went through a phase where I didn't believe him at all. I just did not believe him. I'm like, this is a phase. You're going to realize that this is not you, and it can't be right. And I didn't really take it seriously, so I kept asking questions like, well, have you seen a therapist? You know, have you seen doctors? Are you going to start tea? Just to gauge how serious he really was about it. And I realized he is pretty serious, so I moved out of that phase and moved into a really angry phase, where I was just, like, livid and leaving all kinds of, like, ridiculous voicemails and text messaging him all kinds of ridiculous things, and just being, like, so mean. Like, I was really seriously cruel and mean. So then I was really depressed and cried and cried and cried some more, but then I accepted it. So yes, I went through a lot of phases, and it's different for everybody. But I think those are the normal sort of stages of like the grieving process, and that process does end with acceptance. So I did get there, but it took a while. It definitely took like I'd say over a month, maybe two. I don't I don't really remember. Somewhere around there. Gabe doesn't remember either, but so during that time, it didn't make me question my identity at all. It helped affirm my sexual orientation. It helped me sort of affirm that yes, I do like men. And when we were going through that, we just sort of looked at each other and we had to kind of laugh because we were like, this is so tragic. If we had just been honest with each other when we were still together, we could have just stayed together and been fine. But like, I was lying to him about not liking girls, and he was lying to me about his identity, and so we just like screwed ourselves over so bad, and it took us breaking up to come to terms with that, and then we were able to get back together. And since we've gotten back together, it's been so much better because we've been able to be honest. So it's been really good. I know it's really hard. I mean, I get it. It's so hard, but for trans guys out there, I just want to say, just be patient, because your family will come around, and if your partner, if it's meant to be, he or she will come around as well, and get to that point of acceptance. I have some other advice, I guess I would say, for other people who are going through this. One thing is, if you are a person who has recently found out that your partner's trans identified, just give yourself that time to accept it. Give yourself that time to go through all those different phases, because you need them. You need to sort of go through all of that. Also, for anybody who's going through this situation, I would say, don't force it. If it's meant to be, it will be, but you need to be true to yourself. One of my very best friends, she was involved in this relationship with a woman, and then that woman decided that he now was going to transition, and my best friend was just like, you know what, I can't do this. It took me long enough to come to terms with the fact that I'm a lesbian, and I'm not interested in men, so it's just not going to work out. And they were able to part and go their separate ways, and are both happier because of that. And I think that if they had tried to force it, they just would have been incredibly unhappy. So I think for some people it can work, and for some people it can't work. So you have to sort of just accept that. Both parties involved deserve to be happy, and both parties involved need to be true to themselves and to each other. So don't force it. Just be patient. And then the other thing is, I would say, and I swear I say this in like every video, but I think communication is the most important thing. If you are a partner or a family member who just found out that your person, your son or daughter or friend or significant other is trans-identified, communicate with them and ask questions. Learn as much as you can. When I first found out, I started researching and reading and doing all sorts of things and getting involved with watching videos on YouTube and that sort of thing, just to become educated so I could really understand it. And sometimes we would be like laying in bed at night, and I would just ask Gabe, questions like, for how long have you known that you're trans? Or what was it like when you were little? It's not me being in disbelief or not believing him. It's just me wanting to know more and wanting to communicate with him about his process and his transition. The other thing that really helps is meeting people who are in situations like your own. Going to group therapy with Gabe has been just really helpful for me. It's been great to be able to meet other people who are in situations like ours and sort of see what might be down the road for us. And also it's great to have friends who are in situations like yours, because they can relate to you, they can understand. And even for me, just people that I've met through YouTube and other online communities have become such really, really good friends of mine, because we're able to communicate about these things and they get it. They know. So that's my advice there. I cannot believe this video is 9.5 minutes. I did it again. This is the second time I recorded this, and this one's even longer. Oh my god. Okay, I'm stopping talking. But I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next week for another edition of Snappy Sundays with Darling Nickie.